meeting to order. I can't see the agenda and see everyone on the phone. So, Wayne, I'm assuming you have all the items on for discussion today, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, so I do.
I'll turn the meeting over to you.
Okay. Amanda, did they want to do any approval of minutes?
We can catch that at the next meeting.
Okay. All right. So there's 4 action items on the agenda today. And just for those that haven't been party to this process, on the 30th of July, the state announced that they were going to award Warren County a partial award of what they said they were going to provide back in February and March. Then that money, as we all know, never materialized. And so on Friday, they said, Friday the county received a letter, Friday the 31st, that the county was awarded $49,900. Sarah was, I think, a little overwhelmed at first that we had to put all this together, or she had to put all this together by the 10th of August. So, but she did a great job, put a revised program together, met with the Census Outreach Committee and the Complete Count Committee. And so, and that was submitted to the state last Friday. Yesterday, the state gave us an award letter and a contract document, and Bob at the county attorney's office is, we've gone over that. We've kind of divvied up some responsibilities to get that processed. And Resolution 89, which I included as part of the packet, allows the county administrator to execute that. So we are going to be moving forward with a number of items here. But the first item that I'd asked the committee to consider is basically a standard resolution authorizing the county and the chairman to execute an agreement with Empire State up to $49,900. Originally, the amount had been $49,899.09 because that's the work program that Sarah came up with to the penny. My fears were realizing that the state didn't want to deal with anything like that, and they just awarded us the $49,900. So I did submit a revised budget amendment resolution to Amanda and some of the others that did include the $49,900. We'll get to that later. But the first resolution request is to authorize the submission and the execution of the grant agreement.
Move it to the floor.
Thank you. Supervisor Leggett, second. Do we have a second? Thank you. Any discussion? So we'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, Mr. Diamond has a question.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? And it's carried. I'm sorry, we haven't opposed?
No, Mr. Diamond has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Supervisor Diamond, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have a question for Sarah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question for Sarah. Sarah, in the award that we got from the state from Empire State Development, did they indicate when we can expect to receive payment? Because we'll be planning the money, correct?
Yeah. So miraculously, they said that they will wire transfer the money into the county's bank account within 24 hours of receiving the signed grant agreement award. So hopefully we can get that grant agreement award to them today, this afternoon, and then hopefully we'll have the money by tomorrow or Thursday.
Good, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
One of the $12,000 for the Warren County counts for low-income student events. How many people is that expected to reach?
It's supposed to reach about 1,000 people. And we will also, so that's one event that's about 1,000 people in our target, low response population. But we will have additional items after that event that we're planning to distribute to other area food pantries. I've spoken with a couple, and they're in need of both hand sanitizers and masks. So we're planning to have enough that we can distribute to a number of the other local food pantries as well.
And was that just if I may do a follow-up, is that just to get people to participate? Is that the idea? Because that seems to be a big, cost for.
Yeah, it's a big expense. In discussions with the census, so this was a suggested item when the state released the updated grant guidelines. They had suggested doing, census themed PPE. And in discussions with the Census Bureau, they've found that people are more likely to participate in these events if they get something. So we tried to do something that was useful and needed. And we figured, definitely all the food pantries are in need of hand sanitizer. In specific, they've asked for the small personal size hand sanitizer bottles. So that's what we went with. We're going with a local Springbrook distillery is doing them for us at a reduced cost. So hopefully, it motivates people at these events to come up and complete the census questionnaire, and then it's a useful item in exchange. So that was our reasoning with that. We know it's a big dollar amount.
Thank you.
Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Should we have a special board meeting so that the chairman can sign this agreement as soon as possible, rather than today after only committee approval?
That's a good question.
I believe Resolution 89 authorizes the county administrator to execute any outreach agreements that are necessary. I included 89 in the packet. I talked with the
That's right.
county attorneys.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
So do we need a vote again? Amanda, is that what we need to do?
Yes, please just vote on that again. There was some interruption.
So are there any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Mr. Conover?
Yep.
Hey,
Sorry?
Mr. Conover. Supervisor Conover from Bolton.
Thank you. Sarah, have you been looking at what the adjustment would be on households that are no longer resident occupied? In other words, that the change in the number of households that are not resident occupied, and been keeping kind of a tally, given the number of non-resident occupied households we have in the county. I mean, I have to believe that is significantly more than it was 10 years ago. And so when you start thinking in those terms, it's hard to get apples to apples, if you see what I'm saying. I'm not looking to make numbers better than they are, but at the same time, there's a certain reality that we have a lot of renter households in our county, and probably more than, I know in our community, a lot more than there was 10 years ago. But I was just wondering, have you been looking at that on at least a county-wide basis? That
So those figures are not released as part of the Census Bureau's figures, but I have calculated them just using our local property, our parcel data. So yes, I do believe that many of the towns, Bolton in particular, have had an increase in the percentage of seasonal occupants, and that is not factored into the response rates from the Census Bureau. So when we continue to see these low response rates for Bolton, Hague, Horicon, those response rates, so the denominator for those response rates is the total number of housing units in each community. And obviously those those particular communities have 60% or greater of the households are seasonal occupants. So it is not apples to apples, as you say, either between 2010 and 2020. It's also not apples to apples between, you can't look at the response rate in Bolton and compare that to the response rate in a ward in Queensbury that is nearly entirely, year-round residential. So when we're discussing target areas, I'm definitely taking that into account.
Yeah, I was thinking more, I mean, like, for example, in Bolton, just for the committee, for example, a 50% response might be 100% of residents. I just give you an example.
Okay.
So I've calculated a target for each community based on their seasonal population rate, which is an estimate. but it gives
I
us.
was
a
just
good
wondering on a
shoot for.
countywide basis, I have to believe that the number of households that are no longer resident occupied has grown. I just don't know by how much.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Andrea. Can I dovetail on this?
Andrea,
Can you
please
guys
do.
hear me?
Go right ahead.
So my son's working for the census, and he came home yesterday and said that he was sent out to collect on 5 properties. They were 5 cabins in a single business. They were counted as individual properties. So we've got that going on as well, which seriously skews the numbers, I think.
Yes, each housing unit is part of the total housing units. Yeah, so if you have a cabin community where you've got 20 cabins and they're all seasonal, yeah, it makes your response rate look much lower than you know, a comparable area in Glens Falls or Queensbury. So yes, so the bottom line is those communities that are looking at really low response rates, it's not as bad as it looks. You're not doing as poorly as it looks like you're doing.
Any other questions?
But what does that?
Go right ahead, Ron.
What does that indicate for the long run, though?
Those response percentages don't matter. It's the bottom line count of your population that's the critical thing. So, you know, the percentage, again, in Glens Falls, Queensbury, year-round seasonal locations, yes, we want to get as close to 100% as possible. In the more seasonal towns, the important thing is just to get all of your year-round residents to respond. And ideally, we'd be able to send the Census Bureau employees only to year-round residences, but the Census Bureau doesn't have that information. So they still end up having to go to every single housing unit, which obviously is not ideal as far as time goes, and especially with this month cutoff of the census response period. But so we just really, the key is to get the year-round residents to respond.
Yeah.
All right. And to assist with that are the next 2 resolution request items, if I can just kind of transition into those. Sarah has put together a program. Again, there were some suggestions or preferred items from Empire State Development, who is the state agency administering this program. And I know that the Complete Count Committee, you know, Sarah's had discussions with them. So this program was put together. It was approved by the state. We have our agreement and working on it with the county attorney's office to get it turned around. But we do need a resolution to authorize an agreement with TriCounty United Way. And that dollar amount is on the resolution request form.
$37,424
and 44 cents.
Yep.
Correct. So I'd ask the committee's consideration of that.
So Wayne, let me just back up. And the prior resolution, I don't believe we had a vote on because we still had discussion. Amanda, am I correct with that?
That's right.
Amanda?
You need to vote on item 1. You have a motion and a second. You just need to.
All right. So I'm going to call the question for that item 1. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And carried. Thank you, Wayne. So now we need a motion for the second one?
Yes, for the contract agreement with TriCounty United Way.
Okay, so I need
to put it on the floor, but I do have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Very much so. Thank you, Rachel. We need a second.
Second.
Supervisor Sieber, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Wayne, I know that you said the contract is still being drawn up. Do you have one from a previous year or a previous time, or an idea of what this is covering, or like how do we know what the $37,424 is going for?
Okay, in the resolution packet, I included the work program, which has all the items.
Yeah.
It was like 9 pages in the beginning, and it identifies.
I'm sorry, I was looking after the resolution for that backup. Okay, so it starts.
Yeah, it's the, you know, the 3rd or 4th page in the packet talks about all the contractual services And
Oh.
United Way is going to do a number of items there, and they're all spelled out.
So United Way is actually taking up all of the contractual services, 37,424?
For that, yes. And then their Sidekick Creative is also going to be doing something. That's the next resolution. 75% of the funds have to go through a not-for-profit. So TriCounty United Way stepped up and acted and agreed to act as the not-for-profit. They are pre-approved at the state. They had to be vetted first.
No, I recall that now. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Wayne.
Sure.
Any other questions, discussion?
Didn't I just
With that-
see that the United Way director is leaving? Do we have any concerns about their organization? No, that's the wrong.
So yes, the director is leaving. We don't have any concerns. They committed to this knowing that the director was leaving. He was involved in the, in the discussions, and the interim director is managing the contract and on board. Yeah.
Great. Okay, thanks. I mean, Dwayne's great. I just wondered if they were going to have a little bit of a hole there. So, okay, thanks.
Any other questions, comments? With that, I'll call a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And opposed? Seeing none, that motion's carried. Wayne?
Okay, the next one is for an agreement contract with Sidekick Creative for $10,945. Again, those work items were spelled out in the work program that was included in the packet. But basically, it's for product to be distributed and some social media presence. So I'd ask the
Bring the motion.
consideration.
Thank you. Someone to bring the motion to the floor?
Aye.
Thank you, Brad. A second? Need a second? Unless I lost my
I'll
internet.
second.
Thank you.
It's Andrea.
Any
I'll
discussion?
second.
Thank you, Andrea. And any discussion on this? Hearing none, call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Carried.
Aye.
Wayne, anything else?
Yes, the last one is to amend the budget to accept the funds and put them into the 80/20 account for the department. Your original resolution request form had $49,899.09. That was a work program that was prepared. My fears were realized when the state just went ahead and gave us the 49.9. So I sent a revised resolution request form to Amanda and to Supervisor Wild and the county administrator this morning that added the 91 cents. So it's basically the same resolution, except the funding going into 470 was increased by 91 cents. So it's a full 49.9.
So let's bring it to the floor for 49.9. You need a first and second.
Aye.
Brad, thank you. And I'm sorry if I didn't hear a second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Greg.
Any discussions?
And yes,
Discussion?
Mr. Chairman. Is this on the resolution request
Yes,
form number
Supervisor
7
Leggett.
that came after the first resolution request form number 5? Or was that, it says August 2020,
Right.
but it has the 49,899.09 amount on it.
Correct. I just sent out the corrected one this morning because we got the contract yesterday.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't think the board or the Amanda has had a chance to disseminate it out yet. So
Oh, okay. Fine. Thank you.
yes.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion is carried also. And that, anything else that we need to bring up to the committee today?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. We do need to take finance committee action on that item too, to get it to the board. So
Okay,
Mrs. Frazier is here.
All right, thank you. I need to have someone from the finance committee make that resolution 2020 budget.
Mr. Rodino.
I will make
All right,
second.
seconded by,
Second.
is that Ms. Bramer? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Carried, thank you.
Amanda, some guidance. Am I still, is the economic development still on, right? So do we,
Yep, you're
So
looking
any
for
other-
public comment.
okay, well, we'll wait for public comment then.
We do not have
Layman.
any public comment at this time, Supervisor Wild.
Thank you. Any other points to discuss by any committee members or other supervisors? With that, I'll ask for the meeting to be adjourned. If we have a motion.
Make a motion.
I heard something, but I'm not sure if I had a first and second.
First up, Brad McGowan.
I'll second Mr. McGowan.
Amanda?
Yes, you have a motion, you just need to vote.
Amanda, can I be heard? Hello?
Yes, Mr. McGowan made the motion to adjourn and Ms. Seaver seconded it.
All right, so the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.